Hello, everyone, and welcome in. It is a Wednesday. That means only one thing. It's time now for Supernatural News and Parashare right here on Darkness Radio. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. Right over there is my co-hostess. Ladies and gentlemen, she's intelligent, she's witty, she's funny, she's darn good looking on the eyes. She has 3 books out there right now, which are hitting with a steel mitten. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Jessica Freeburg. Hi, Jess. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great, Tim. I've never heard that one before.
No, you haven't?
No, hitting with the steel mitten. I like it.
Probably because I just made it up. I don't know. By the way, we have a link in the description of this program, so you can go get those books. So go out and get them. Um, I would name them all off the top of my head, but my brain is fried right now. I know I can name. There's.
You don't have to do that. They can just go to my website and look
Oh,
at my books, and they can pick any of the books on there that they would like.
that's right. That's right. That's right. They can do that. Yeah.
You don't
But
have to memorize things, Tim.
but I want to give them the latest ones. I mean that you all your books are wonderful, but I wanted to promote the latest one.
Well, my very latest one is Homecoming, Vivian Bennett Mystery. That's going to be a series. So
Oh,
that was the OG book that I published many years ago, probably like 10 years ago. So I'm excited that it's back out in the world because it wasn't for a while.
there you go. All right. So that's the latest. Again, jessicafreeburg.com. Go there and get those books, kids. That's for sure. And I know you'd mentioned just off air that you're working on some Ghost Stories Inc. trips for 2025. So,
Yeah, we have one we'll be announcing, I think in February. It's for December, so it's a little ways out, but it's a new location, a really cool historic hotel in Stillwater, Minnesota. I'll tell you that much. Stillwater's like it's gorgeous there. We love it.
yeah.
Cool history.
Yeah. So last week on the program, I know I haven't mentioned this to you. I'm putting you on the spot on this program right now, Jess. I love doing this sometimes. I know I used to hate it when other people would do this to me. You're probably going to hate this now that I'm doing this to you. Last week on this show, we had Tim Miley on the program. We were talking photographs for pooches.
Yeah.
Tim announced on the program that August 9th, I think it's August 9th, they haven't put tickets on sale for it yet, but they will shortly. Photographs for Pooches is coming back to the Palmer House in August. And he had asked me to host the event or to help co-host the event.
So
Co-host.
fun.
He hosts the event along with
Yeah,
Lauren.
yeah.
Obviously, that's their event. But he had asked me to help co-host the event. And I said, I kind of have a co-host that has a pooch that I think and also has a great paranormal group that I think would really like to probably be involved in the event. Boy, I
Hmm.
cracked my neck when I did that. I don't know if you heard that or not. Um, I don't know. So, I kind of mentioned it on air. I don't know. I mean, it's something to think about. Just saying.
Yeah, well, I'm game. I'm always open to going to the Palmer House, and you know how much I love pooches.
Yeah. So, just something to think about. I mean, it is a charity event. I hate to throw that out there. It is a charity event, Jess, but you know,
Yeah, but sometimes those are the best ones. I mean, what are we doing here if we're not giving back to other people, Tim?
right, right. So I don't know, Jess, just something to think about. We'll talk.
I already thought about it. You let him know I'm game if
All
he
right.
wants to, to partner up on that. You let him know I'm down.
Okay. Well, I'll let them know. I'll let Tim and Lauren know. So,
All right.
all right. So, keep watching darknessradioshow.com, the event section, and hey, we're gonna turn this thing out. We're gonna have some fun. The last time, Jess, this is what got me so passionate about photographs for pooches. We went to Eagle's Healing Nest. I don't know if you've ever been up there when you're up that way at the Palmer, but
No, I haven't.
Eagle's Healing Nest is an organization that helps out veterans that are trying to reacclimate to society. And sometimes it's veterans who have either returned from war or have been back from war and are having a hard time acclimating to society. And what they do is they use, whether it be dogs, cats, horses, chickens, whatever animals, and they use them not only for support animals, but it's a fully functioning ranch farm.
That's so cool.
And it's maybe 5-10 miles away from the Palmer out there, out there in the countryside. I mean, it's I can't tell you which town it is, but it's in one of the surrounding towns near Sauk Center there.
Yeah.
And they have a fully functioning workshop out there. They make jewelry out there. They hold support groups, alcohol and drug support groups out there. They've got vocation programs for the veterans out there. And boy, the horses are beautiful out there too. But they've got fully functioning farms. They've got lots of dogs, lots of cats. And it's a fully functioning vet community. And at any time, if you're a veteran who's been in this community at Eagle's Healing Nest out there, and you're in society and you're just not getting along in society, or you feel like you're not fitting in, and you need a group and you need to come back to group there, or maybe you need to come back to the healing nest and stay there for a little while, you can. So you can check yourself back in, come back to the nest, reacclimate, get your bearings, and then go back out into the world. And it's
I love that.
it's such a neat organization. So again, and they always need donations. If you feel like you want to help, just look up Eagle's Healing Nest online. I'm going to try and find a link for it and put it back up on darknessradioshow.com, because they're such a worthy organization, such an organization that helps. I'm trying to remember the name of the hockey player from Minnesota here that unfortunately lost his life, but even he went there at one time. He was dealing with severe PTSD and went up there and said, I wish there was a place for victims of CTE. And Eagle's Healing Nest helped him start to build that place that was similar to Eagle's Healing Nest. So, but they brought him in and let him stay there for a year. So Eagle's Healing Nest is doing some amazing stuff. So I really hope that for this trip, we went over there on a Saturday afternoon and spent an hour taking the tour over there.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And just walking around, seeing the vocational area and seeing, we could go down to the horse barn if we wanted. We could go over and see the dogs and the kitties and just see whatever we wanted to see. They gave us full reign just to go see what we wanted to see. So that was quite cool. So this Potographs for Pooch's trip up the Palmer is going to be more than just ghost hunting. And much like with your trips, Jess, it's more than just ghost hunting. It's a little something more, a little something extra, and really helps you get your bearings in life. So,
so beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. It really made me quite passionate for a little something extra in life. So let's get it on with supernatural news here. Let's get moving today. We've got some interesting stories this week, including on the UFO side of things. A little something extra about a Rendlesham Forest UFO documentary that an X-Files legend is doing the voice work for. Also, do aliens exist? A new study finds out what scientists are saying about it now. A celebrity psychic and astrologer reveals the exact day you should buy a lottery ticket. We'll tell you when that should be. I know people are going, oh, wait a minute, I'm going to write this down. AI is at it again, this time telling us when we should replace our body parts. We'll tell you about that today.
Now.
Yeah, I kind of feel like now is the time. Boy, especially after all this cold weather, I'm feeling like now is the time to replace some of those body parts. On the other side of this, as far as other psychic news, we had mentioned the lottery stuff. A psychic actually told Ricky Lake, and this is kind of concerning, that her house would burn down in LA. It was a famous psychic that told her before it actually happened that her house would burn down.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about that today. There's a new species of isopod that's out there that's being dubbed Darth Vader. We'll tell you about that too in a more unusual story today. And to wrap it all up today, uh, I know you hear ads on this show every once in a while. I know some of you kind of struggle with the ads on this show. You hear ads or see ads even on Netflix these days. Some of you don't like the ads in any of these programs. Well, guess what? Now you may be getting ads in your dreams. We'll tell you about how ads are even going to interrupt your sleep. Yes, we're not going to we're not going to end on a good note today. We'll tell you about how dreams are even going to be interrupted by ads. That's coming up at the very end of the program today. But first, we're going to talk about some alien news, as aliens seem to be all the rage these days. Just real quickly, drones seem to be falling off the table, so to speak, when it comes to alien news. But I saw an article, I didn't want to get fully into it or deep into it, but I think it's German authorities are now saying that they believe the whole drone thing is a Russian deal.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like it could be another country. So, I mean, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, they pointed the finger firmly at the Russians this week. So
Mm.
interesting. They say the Germans firmly believe it's Russia that is responsible for not only the drones in the United States but drones all over the world.
Okay, so they're doing this everywhere. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's just an interesting side note as we get into the alien thing here, but something to keep our eye on now, especially now that we have we have a new president. We have President Trump now installed in the U.S. and we'll see if that trend changes now with a new president. If the drones go away, if the activity increases, something to keep our eye on. There's a video clip out there that asks the question, does that clip corroborate a whistleblower's UFO retrieval claims? A U.S. Air Force veteran has reportedly confirmed his involvement in retrieving alien technology. We've heard a lot of rumors of secretive UFO retrieval programs in recent years, and now, according to reports, Jake Barber, a U.S. Air Force veteran who was contracted as a helicopter pilot, has claimed that he was personally involved in retrieving such objects on behalf of the U.S. government. Speaking to News Nation's Ross Coulthart, he described one particular incident in which he was tasked with retrieving a white egg-shaped craft that he believed was definitely not of human origin. Just visually looking at the object on the ground, you could tell that it was extraordinary and anomalous, he said. It was not human. It's consistent with anything that I've ever seen before. I can also tell you that the reaction by my team, we all knew we were dealing with something extraordinary. Over the last few years, it's been confirmed to me by ranking members of the UAP task force that what we're working with that night was, in fact, NHI or non human intelligence, and it was not a unique experience. After the interview, News Nation actually reached out to the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or ARROW, the Pentagon's official UFO investigation branch, to ask them about what he'd said. The quote here is, ARROW has not discovered any verifiable information to substantiate claims that any programs regarding the possession or reverse engineering of extraterrestrial materials have existed in the past or exist currently. That, according to Department of Defense spokesperson Sue Go. The story doesn't end there, however, as News Nation later obtained and published a remarkable video clip that shows a white egg-shaped object just like that described by Barber, dangling in a sling beneath a helicopter during what is thought to be a UFO retrieval operation. Now, could that be evidence confirming what Barber said is true? Tell you what, I'm going to post this in the description of this program. You can watch that video and determine for yourself, is that an actual video of what Barber was talking about? It's kind of interesting. So I don't know. I kind of feel like we're getting glad-handed by the government. There's an interesting, it's available right now on Tubi. It's a special put out by TMZ about disclosure about alien disclosure. It's a special about alien disclosure. It's
Mhm.
hosted by Jeremy Corbell. I forget what the name of it is, but it was released on the 15th. It was supposed to run the 15th to the 19th. It may be available online or on Tubi, on demand, I meant to say. But check for it. And it's free, of course. Tubi, it's on Tubi for free. And in it, of course, it's got the explosive clips of the government's lying to us, and Corbell is running up and down the halls of Congress, screaming at different members of Congress that they're lying to us, and that I have evidence right here, and he's holding up a file. The basic explosive clips you see everywhere, Jess.
Right.
Um, but Jeremy Corbell is one of those guys who he's just not afraid to hold evidence up in front of influential people and say, I've got it, and you are lying to us. And it seems like in this special from TMZ that they seem to have found something that proves that David Grush, and David Grush is in the special, what he's saying is the truth. That you know that there are everything that you've seen on video, all these different like the Tic Tac videos and
Right.
everything are absolutely 100% true. And the government has been glad handing us the entire time. So,
I believe that 100%.
well, even when they say, well, we don't, we don't know what this video is, and please tell us what it is. Even even Jeremy Corbell is saying, you know what, they're handing you a line of bull. They know what it is.
Oh, yeah. They know so much more
Yeah.
than they
So,
let on.
yeah. Our next story is Three Gorges Dam in space. China is planning to reveal or is revealing plans to build a giant power station in Earth's orbit. The energy collected in 1 year would be the equivalent to the total amount of oil that can be extracted from the Earth. Isn't that something?
It sounds amazing.
It does, but is it safe? That's the other question. China
Probably
is,
not.
bro, you never know. China has revealed plans to build a gigantic power station in space, comparing the project to building Three Gorges Dam above Earth. While the world continues to guzzle down oil like we weren't aware of the climate crisis, more long term thinkers are working on ways to renewable energy like solar power more efficient. Though we have greatly improved on solar power in the last few decades, there's one ambitious way we could potentially give it a real boost, moving solar panels slightly closer to the sun. The idea of creating a space-based power station has been around for a while. Potential advantages of such a station include that solar panels would be able to collect more energy without the Earth's atmosphere reflecting and absorbing it away. And the fact that it could move around the Earth, perpetually collecting sunlight, collecting energy in space, by the way, may sound useless unless you live in space or have a really long chain of extension cables. But the idea to wirelessly transmit that energy back to Earth through high energy radio waves to receivers on the ground does sound feasible. One of the main problems to overcome, however, which China hopes to address with a new Long March 9 or CZ-9 reusable super heavy rocket, is getting the many pieces needed into orbit. With this rocket intended also to take Chinese astronauts to the moon, the country hopes to begin work on the array. We are working on this project right now. Long Li Hao, who is a rocket scientist and member of the Chinese Academy of Engineering, said that in a lecture per South China Morning Post. It's as significant as moving the Three Gorges Dam to geostationary orbit 36,000 kilometers or 22,370 miles above the Earth. When complete, the orbiting power station would be expected to produce significant amounts of power for people below. Really significant power, he went on to say. This is an incredible project to look forward to, Long continued. The energy collected in 1 year would be equivalent to the total amount of oil that can be extracted from the Earth. The timescale for the project hasn't been yet released by China, but unless it really gets a move on, it is unlikely to become the first nation to create an orbiting power station. Iceland, of all people, collaborating with UK company Space Solar, plans to create a smaller space solar array by 2030, capturing enough energy to potentially power 1,500 to 3,000 homes before an upgraded power station in 2033. Interesting.
I just really appreciate that there's smart people in the world figuring this stuff out.
Yeah, me too. I'm still perplexed though by a story that came out. I want to say it was exactly 1 year ago or 2 years ago now about laser fusion, and it got buried. I mean, absolutely buried in the headlines. And I want to say it was first week in January. It was either last year or the year before, and it was all over the headline news for exactly a day. And they said scientists had broken through laser fusion and figured out how to power an entire city with one laser.
What? And we're not talking about this?
We're not talking about it. It got buried. But the whole thing was they said it would take 10 years to figure out how to build the facility in order to do
Oh.
it. I don't buy that for a minute. If you figured out how to create laser fusion, why would it take 10 years to build the facility?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not smart enough to figure those things out, Tim. Maybe they need special, fancy things they still have to create to make it happen. Like the concept is there, but
I would just think that you would be in a hurry to want to build this facility and get this online. I think the reason 10 years, Jess, to build that facility, because power companies are trying to figure out a way to make money off this because it doesn't cost
oh,
money to manufacture a laser, right?
I suppose. I mean, yeah, I think everything is fueled by money, right? I mean, down to our healthcare system being so dysfunctional, like doctors are better off if we're sick, like just
Yeah.
the energy company needs us to need energy from them.
Right.
So,
Right. Because as it is now, when we're taking fossil fuels out of the ground or we're mining natural gas or whatever it is we're mining um, in order to provide a product, I can say to you, well, Jess, I'm paying so much for manpower. I'm paying so much for equipment to drill oil. There's so much I need to put back into renewable resource in order to continue to mine oil from the earth. So I've got this is my expenditure. This is what I'm paying in order to get that out of the earth, right? Well, with a friggin' laser, as I put that up
yeah,
in quotes,
freaking laser.
friggin' laser, I'm not. I'm creating light,
Right,
right? So
right.
there's minimal expense. So as a consumer, you can come back to me and go, it costs you pennies. So why are you going to charge me the same amount that you charge me for drilling oil to power my home? What's the justification? How come my electric bill doesn't come way down,
Right.
right? How come I'm paying $100 a month for electric or $200 a month for electric still, or $300 a month for electric or whatever you're paying for your home bill when the resource isn't the same? You know, why doesn't it get cut in half?
It all comes back to the dollar, Tim.
There you go. So they have to make this big, expensive, oh no, the technology is expensive. And oh my gosh, if you knew what it costs for R&D to come up with this, oh, it costs us tens of millions of dollars to build this. And then to replicate it and put it in different cities. And oh my gosh, it was billions and billions of dollars. And so that's why we have to raise your prices.
Right. And we don't know. We have no way of knowing.
That's right.
You kind of have to trust what people are telling you, but the reality is we kind of can't.
Well, you could, especially if your electric company is part of a co-op because you're a
Oh,
member
yeah.
and you can ask for an accounting.
Right.
But if it's a private company, you can't necessarily, unless you're on the board of directors, you can't push for an accounting. So I don't know. Interesting stuff, that's for sure. Let's move on to our next story. Are you a fan of NASCAR? Do you watch NASCAR at all?
I mean, I'm not a huge sports person, but I do. If it's on, we watch it. So I'm not like invested in it, though.
Okay.
I don't care who wins.
I don't either. They go around and around in a circle. I just hope nobody gets hurt. That's
Yeah, same.
yeah,
Okay, we're in the same level then.
there you go. Well, NASCAR legend Mark Martin recalled a near miss with a UFO over Florida recently.
Ooh,
Yeah. So Speaking of guys who know speed, there's a guy who knows speed and crafts, right?
Yeah.
The racing legend had been flying home on a private jet when the aircraft almost collided with a mystery object. Speaking recently in an interview with Garage Guy Chase, Martin, who was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2017, boy, it's hard to believe already that time is going fast. I remember when Mark Martin was an active racer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time is going fast. I don't like it.
Martin was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2017, described a close encounter he'd had back in the 1990s. He had been flying over Jacksonville, Florida, on his way to Daytona, and the only other person in the aircraft was his pilot. So it's black, he says, and I see a light that is solid white light, looks solid light that's not flashing, and that could only be like a landing light is the only thing that would make sense would be a spotlight looking light like that. And it would have to be far away because I couldn't see the green and red wingtip lights, he recalled. So I keep it in my eye. I keep checking up there, and it gets closer and closer. I didn't say anything to pilot Jason Simpson. I'm just flying along. Finally, I fixate on it. Plane's on autopilot. And so I'm fixated on it, and it gets closer and closer and closer. And then it gets like, oh my God, we're gonna hit that. And I grabbed the yoke and kicked it off autopilot. And I was getting ready to jerk the plane to the right. And Jason was like, what? And I said, look. And we both saw this and we thought we were going to hit it. And then it started pulling away, gradually pulling away and slowly pulling away. Eerily after the sighting, air traffic control confirmed that there had been no other aircraft present at the time in that airspace. So what was the anomalous object that Martin's plane nearly hit that day? Well, we may not know for sure, but there was nothing, Jess, in that airspace that Mark Martin was talking about.
That's wild. That's such a credible story.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. That's for sure. Well, our next story has to do with Rendlesham Forest, one of the most famous UFO sightings in England's history. There's a new UFO documentary about Rendlesham Forest out there that an X-Files legend is narrating. An intriguing new documentary is set to delve deep into the mystery of the UK's most famous UFO incident. It's narrated by William B. Davis, who's famously played the secretive cigarette smoking man on the X-Files. The new documentary, entitled The Rendlesham UFO, The British Roswell, promises to unravel shocking new insights pertaining to this long-enduring case. Particularly unusual is the film's emphasis on paranormal activity and cryptids, things not typically associated with either Rendlesham Forest or its famous UFO incident. This is a captivating documentary delving into the mysterious 1980 Rendlesham UFO incident, often referred to as Britain's Roswell, the official trailer synopsis reads. This thrilling UFO road trip explores decades of unexplained phenomena, from bizarre sightings and floating orbs of light to chilling cryptid encounters. Featuring exclusive interviews with prominent UFO researchers, including Philip Kinsella and John Hansen, and culminating in a groundbreaking CE5 experiment, the documentary unravels shocking new insights and paranormal activity. Directed by Mark Christopher Lee and Roderick Godman, and produced by, I believe it's Weird Kingdom Pictures, this film blends humor, suspense, and eerie discoveries into one unforgettable journey. The incident itself, which occurred in December of 1980, saw U.S. servicemen stationed at RAF Woodbridge in England and witness a strange object over multiple nights. Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt and his men had gone out to investigate when the unidentified object was spotted descending into the nearby woods. Our security team observed a light that looked like a large eye, red in color, moving through the trees, Holt recalled. After a few minutes, this object began dripping something that looked like molten metal. A short while later, it broke into several small white-colored objects, which flew away in all different directions. In the years since, many have come to refer to the incident as Britain's Roswell, but not everyone subscribes to the belief that Rendlesham UFO was extraterrestrial in origin. No release date for the new documentary has been revealed yet. But again, there's a trailer for it, and we'll post the story in the description of this program so you can check that trailer out for yourself. So there you go. There's a new study out there, Jess, that asks the question, do aliens exist? And scientists are weighing in as to whether they believe in aliens or not. Now, naturally, you would think scientists, probably not. I mean, that, just based on a skeptical mind, right?
Right.
Well, researchers have polled hundreds of scientists to see what the scientific community thinks about alien life. 3 scientists, Peter Vickers, Henry Taylor, and Sean McMahon, all weigh in. And here's how it goes. News stories about the likely existence of extraterrestrial life and our chances of detecting it tend to be positive. We are often told we might discover it at any time now. Finding life beyond Earth is only a matter of time. We were told in September of 2023 that we are close. And that was a headline from September of 2024. It's easy to see why headlines such as "we're probably not close" or "nobody knows" aren't exactly very clickable. But what does the relevant community of experts actually think when considered as a whole? Are optimistic predictions common or rare? Is there even a consensus? In a new paper published by Nature Astronomy, well, we found out. During February to June of 2024, they carried out 4 surveys regarding the likely existence of basic, complex, and intelligent extraterrestrial life. They sent emails to astrobiologists, scientists who study extraterrestrial life, as well as to scientists in other areas, including biologists and physicists. In total, 521 astrobiologists responded, and they received 534 non-astrobiologist response. The result revealed that 86.6% of the surveyed astrobiologists responded either agree or strongly agree that it's likely that extraterrestrial life, or at least the basic kind, exists somewhere in the universe. Less than 2% disagreed, and with 12% of them staying neutral. So based on this, we might say that there's a solid consensus that extraterrestrial life of some form exists out there somewhere. Scientists who weren't astrobiologists essentially concurred with an overall agreement score of 88.4%. In other words, one can say that astrobiologists are biased toward believing in extraterrestrial life compared with other scientists. When we turn to complex extraterrestrial life or intelligent aliens, the results were 67.4% agreement, so a little less, and 58.2% agreement, respectively, for astrobiologists and other scientists. So scientists tend to think that alien life exists, even in more advanced forms. These results are made even more significant by the fact that disagreement for all categories was low. For example, only 10.2% of astrobiologists disagreed with the claim that intelligent aliens likely exist. Interesting.
Yeah, and those guys are smart. So,
yeah, well, we'd like to think so.
smarter than me anyway.
Well, and they're more intelligent than I am. So, yeah, I'd give them that, Jess. I'll give them that. One more story before we go to break here. Actually, yeah, one more story before we go to break here. A huge planet-like object may have once barged through our solar system. Scientists now believe that our solar system may have once been visited by something very large indeed. The orbits of some of the planets in our solar system are now thought to have been influenced by a visitor from deep space, an object so large that it nudged these worlds' orbits as it passed through. This is the idea put forward by scientists as part of a new study into unexplained discrepancies in the orbits of the gas planets, or gas giants. I'll get that right. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. And boy, is Uranus a gas giant. I mean, not that I've noticed, but I'm just saying.
Well, not mine specifically, but just generally.
Just in general. I'm making generalities here. Yes, just generalities. By running thousands of computer simulations, the researchers discovered that a visiting interstellar body, most likely 8 times the mass of Jupiter, could account for the current orbits of the gas giants as we see them today. This huge visitor would have likely passed as close as 1.6 AU from the sun, a little further than the current orbit of Mars, before leaving the solar system and disappearing back off into deep space. Exactly when this would have occurred remains unclear, but it is thought that in order to change the orbits of the gas giants, such a close encounter would have only needed to happen once. Given that there could be any number of such objects careening through the cosmos, it is certainly possible that our solar system could have been visited by one at some point in the distant past. Whether we'll be able to identify the exact object responsible, however, seems unlikely. So there you go. Something huge hit Uranus and we can't tell what it is. That's typically the case. I mean, when something hits Uranus that hard.
We're just still reeling from it, but we're not sure what happened.
That's right. I mean, generally you're in shock when something hits Uranus, you know.
Especially when it's giant.
Yes, when it's giant. You know, when it's something small, you go, oh, yeah, oh, that's something. But boy, when it's giant, you're in shock, right?
Ugh, like that poor man who slipped and fell in the shower and got a shampoo bottle up his anus.
Right, right. You know, I mean, it takes some time to recover from that.
That's
Yeah.
right. Shocking.
Shocking indeed. Well, when we come back from break, Jess, Korean scientists reveal futuristic new Wero exoskeleton for industrial use. So, yes, now you can take your robot to work with you. Let's take your robot to work day.
Sweet.
Sweet, except for it's every day, you know, so now you can lift that bridge and tote that bale. Literally lift that bridge and tote that bale because the robot will be able to do it for you. We have stories about psychics coming up in the next half hour. We also have some interesting stories we have a story about Loch Ness coming up in the next half hour. We're also going to tell you about a mystery surrounding a plate of bananas that keeps appearing on a street corner.
Are there monkeys in that story?
I hope so. That was my hope, is that a monkey is going to appear in today's podcast. Although I don't think that's going to happen.
Darn it.
But we can hope. That's all we can do. And we're going to end today's show today, Jess. I can't say the word today enough. I don't know why. With the fact that there are ads everywhere, Jess. It's either that or you pay directly for a subscription, one or the other in today's world. Being we can't pay for the subscription for our dreams, evidently we're getting ads in our dreams. Even our dreams are going to have ads eventually. Yes, today's going to end with a little bit of bad news. Coming to your dream soon, ads. Let's just make them catchy ones. That's all I ask.
Yeah, make them fun ones.
Yeah, I don't want to see little Troy in my dreams. You know, little Troy with the head and shoulders. I don't want to see him.
Oh, yeah. And mix it up because I don't want the same commercial in my dreams over and over and over again.
Right, right. Yeah.
I need variety.
Yeah. And whatever you do, I don't want the all over deodorant ones that talk about how bad you stink. I don't want those in my dreams. Keep them out of my dreams. I don't need to know how bad you stink.
For your crevices and cracks.
Yeah, your crevices and cracks. By the way, can I get on a bit of a tangent before we go to break? I don't need to know that Keyless's song is back for your stinky ass. By the way, the my neck, my back, my and your crack. I don't need that over and over and over again in my head during dinner. Okay? So let's just leave that out of my dreams as well. Just saying. All right, on that, let's take a break. When we come back, supernatural news right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. You're listening to Darkness Radio. One. Welcome back into the second half of Supernatural News. Tim Dennis and Jessica Freeburg. We'll get back into the news in just a moment, but first, I want to introduce a good friend of mine. You know, Michigan Paracon went away this past year, and a lot of people were asking the question, what are we going to do now? And people seemed lost. They seemed like, they were wandering around. And what are we going to do? What is there to do? We need a new, big, huge Paracon, something we can rest our shoulders on, something that we can center our universe around, something that we can gather to as not only paranormal fans, but paranormal people to not only gather our families back around, I use families loosely here, or, or the people that we love gather around, and not only that, but get our paranormal fix. Well, folks, we have an answer. And that is Missouri Paracon 2025, which is coming up here at the end of February. To be exact, it is February 28th through March 1st, right at the Maristar Casino and Hotel in Kansas City. With me now is Jesse Leimkuehler, who is the organizer of this wonderful event. Jesse, thank you so much for joining us here on Darkness Radio.
No worries. Thanks so much for having me, Tim. I appreciate it.
Now, my friend, I have to ask you this. Where does the inspiration for this come in? How does this start? How do you get the idea? Was it on the heels of Michigan Paracon, or how did this happen?
Yeah, so actually, it was before I had ever known that Michigan was going to end last year. I had called Brad because I know Brad from previous events and said, Brad, I said, follow with me for a second here. I got this crazy idea. And if it's crazy, just tell me and we'll just move on. But I have this idea to run something similar to Michigan in Missouri about 6 months later. And the idea was to have an event every 6 months and, just have an event that somebody could attend that maybe was in the Midwest, maybe couldn't make it up to Michigan or those kind of things. And so he said, yeah, let's try it. And so we set it up and we started moving on it. And we found a venue here with the Maristar Casino here in Kansas City. And we kind of worked through the process, started inviting people. And of course, then we found out that Michigan was going away, and suddenly everybody was like, well, what are we going to do? As you said. So, it was nice. Everybody kind of grouped around it and decided, well, let's do this instead. And so, we're kind of working our way up. Obviously, it's not going to be quite as big as Michigan was the first year. It's kind of hard to duplicate that right off the bat, but we're excited about the turnout so far. We've got a few hundred so far, and it's really exciting to see everybody, excited about the event and wanting to come to Kansas City, which is great.
Well, I think what a lot of people don't realize is even if Michigan would have came back in the next year, it wouldn't have been the scope it was this past year. So either way, I think really to say, well, this isn't the scope that it would have Michigan would have been or was, I don't think you're ever going to see, nor unless you build Missouri up to that scope, I don't think we're ever going to see anything like Michigan, or won't for quite some time. So I don't think there's any pressure there, to be honest.
Yeah, and the exciting thing is we're doing a few things differently too from Michigan Paracon. While we still have the talks during the day, we have 6 or 7 talks during the day. We still have the vendor showcase, which is, everybody can walk around and not only meet and purchase things from all the vendors, but of course, all the celebs are intermingled amongst those vendors, so they can see those guys. But also, we've added concerts both nights as well.
Yeah.
So we have the first night, we have KCDC, which is an AC/DC tribute band that's really well known. And then the second night, we have Disco Dick and the Mirrorballs, which is a fabulous disco tribute band. And both those bands, they draw, literally thousands for concerts here in Kansas City. And so we're excited to have them. And we're going to have our own little private concert, which is amazing that you get to see these bands in person. And it's all included as part of the ticket price, which is fantastic.
Okay, so I got to tip my hat to you, Jesse, because as much as karaoke was fun, I kind of didn't like hearing everybody's sour notes at one time or another. I love the fact that you brought in a band and everybody can hang out, relax, have fun, go out, dance, hear some good music. And nobody's under any pressure to have to hit their own notes and not hit sour ones. I love the fact that there's professional entertainment there at the end of the night, and we all can just hang out and have a good time. That's a brilliant stroke.
Yeah, and the other thing that's nice too is that the VIP packages, they actually include an open bar for the entire concert too, along with the celebs. So if you get the VIP ticket, you're covered for both concerts. It's amazing. You get drinks for like 4 hours straight, which is fabulous. And then, as you well know, Tim, I mean, after everything happens during the day at these kind of venues, it's sometimes the after party that's just as good as what's actually scheduled, right? I mean, we have multiple bars in the place where we're holding the event, where I know many people are going to group together and hang out, and they're open until, I know one of the casino bars is open until like 2 or 3 in the morning, So as we well know, those are going to be full until it'll be fantastic.
Well, you know a party, my friend. You're the owner of the Belvoir Winery. So, I mean, you know a party. It sounds like you're putting a heck of a one on here. I mean, to have the open bar along with with the VIP package. I mean, what more can you ask for, right? I mean, that's an inclusive package. If I've heard one, that's something special. It sounds to me like you're on your way, and you've got such honored guests as Amy Bruni, Russell Accord from Expedition Bigfoot. You've got Steve and Dave from Ghost Hunters and Ghost Nation, Chip Coffey, Adam Berry, and more. I mean, you're loading it up. Jeff Belanger's there, Aaron Sagers is there, Richard Estep is there, Mike Ricksecker. I mean, you're loading it. I mean, I'm going down the list here, and I'm having a hard time keeping up here. Amy Bruni's there. You're bringing along a lot of the same talent. I shouldn't say same talent. I don't want to cast an aspersion here, but you're bringing along a lot of the headline talent that people want to see, and it's
absolutely
draws that people want to see. So people should be well aware that if they're plunking down that money and they want to come out to by the way, there's such good food in Kansas City. Oh my God, I'm looking forward to it. Such good food in Kansas City. The barbecue alone is the draw for me, but you're also going to see those familiar faces that you love. You're going to get grade A entertainment. And you told me something about Ameristar, by the way, that am I right about this? There's restaurants within Ameristar that are top notch as well.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things. If anybody's ever been to Michigan Paracon, as much fun as it was, there was basically one restaurant and one deli bar is all that was available there. And we have 6 top-notch restaurants in the casino itself, plus in some other places like Burger Place and Ice Cream Place. So a lot of different things. You literally don't have to leave the venue to eat and it's reasonably priced. It's nothing that's crazy, like a stadium or something like that. They're reasonably priced meals, and it's going to be nice to have that option available. And I mean, even in the vendor showcase, we actually have a bar inside the vendor showcase. So you can go in there and buy drinks while you're shopping. I mean, it's amazing that you're able to do that, but we have those kind of things available, which is really nice for customers. They don't have to walk out and get things and then come back in. It's all available right there, which is wonderful.
You've got all the bases covered, my friend. That's all there is to it. So, basically, folks, all you got to do now is just go get the tickets. That's all you got. Get your tickets, book your flight if you're booking a flight, or get ready to drive. MissouriParacon.com, right? That's where they go to get their tickets.
Absolutely. You can get them there. We have GA tickets, and then we also have VIP tickets. So you can kind of choose from what you want there. And either way, it's good. Both those tickets are going to get you all the talks. They're going to get you into the vendor showcase where you can see everyone, and they're going to get you into the concerts.
Perfect. So February 28th through March 1st, I'll be there. I'm going to be at a vendor table. I'll be there to shake hands, kiss babies. Heck, I'll give hugs. I'll do whatever you need. I'll be there to say hi to you.
Yeah. I'll even be able to get more socks from you. I love your socks that you sell.
Okay.
Just so
I'm bringing socks. I may even have something event specific for Missouri Paracon.
Nice.
Well, so I'm bringing a little surprise there for Missouri Paracon this year. So I can't wait to see you, Jesse. It's going to be a wonderful event. I'm looking forward to it ever since you told me about it. I've been anticipating this event. So I'm very excited to check out and be at Missouri Paracon this year. So I want to thank you so much for joining us today, Jesse.
I look forward to seeing you, Tim. Great to see you.
Great to see you as well, my friend. Let's get on, folks, with the stories. Here's more supernatural news on a Wednesday here on Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. Right over there is Jessica Freeburg. Boy, Jess, it is getting colder and colder. The more I look, I can't look over at the ALEXA because every time I look over there, it gets colder and colder.
It's depressing. And they're already canceling school for tomorrow. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, I'm getting notifications.
Really?
Yeah, because of the cold.
Oh, okay. This is how freaky it is. I looked over just now. It was 10 below. I look over right now. It's 12 below.
That's not right. And that's not even the feels like temperature.
Right. That's the air temperature right now in Minneapolis, St. Paul.
It's when you walk outside and it feels like your eyeballs freeze.
Right. When your earwax freezes, it's too cold.
Gross.
Yeah.
Not because of the earwax, just because it's frozen.
Because it's frozen, right? I mean, what do you do with frozen earwax other than put it in a slingshot and hit a bird with it? I mean that's all you can do.
It's like a dangerous projectile.
Yes, really. or plink it off your neighbor's window. I mean, try to get their attention. I mean, I can't think of anything else you could, especially if you lock yourself out of the house. By the way, it's a useful tip. If you ever lock yourself out of the house, keep a slingshot outside your door, especially in freezing weather. You may need to take your frozen earwax out, plink it against your neighbor's window so that they can let you in.
See, don't tell us we never taught you nothing, guys.
That's right.
There.
Valuable advice from Tim and Jess here on Darkness Radio. Just saying. And people like that. You're going to need the Q-tip too, because you're going to have to somehow chisel the frozen earwax.
You got to get it out.
Yeah. So that's the missing piece to this whole deal.
I mean, you can also do that with the other things that are coming out of your body, like the snot and the boogers, and
true. Well,
that freezes immediately as well.
True. Although you may need the runny snot coming out of your nose to try and lubricate the door of your car in order to get in to warm up. I'm just saying, because your door.
All the tips and tricks.
Yeah. I'm just saying I'm like a deep freeze MacGyver over here. Deep freeze MacGyver was my basketball handle back when I was in 3rd grade.
Oh, long story short, folks, we're freaking freezing.
Yeah, we are freezing. Yeah, there's that. All I know is this, Jess. This weather does not make me happy. I'm just saying it's like, no, see, AI, I didn't say I was happy. I said doesn't make me happy. They just hear the word happy and they chime in. I suppose I should bring us along to AI stories and robot stories, and they want their time. They always want their time on the show. Korean scientists have revealed, Jess, that futuristic new Wero exoskeleton is available now for industrial use. That's right. They took your jobs. Robots want your jobs, whether you're going to work them or not. Like Ripley's power loader in the 1986 film Aliens, Korean scientists have unveiled a manual labor exoskeleton they call Wero. Isn't Wero a pop singer?
I don't know.
Paving the way for safer robot-assisted work. By the way, this wearable device is only 11.5 pounds.
Oh, that's lighter than a child that you strap on the front of you.
That normally does the work for you in Korea. Yeah. Just saying. Is that a bad joke? I don't know. I never can tell. Yeah. Sure.
Well, I'm laughing, so no joke is bad if it makes people laugh.
That's what's happened to me since we stopped working at iHeart. I normally I have HR right there in the studio to say, you can't tell the Korean joke. No, it's in bad form.
I think it's frowned upon, but...
The 11.5 pound wearable device reportedly reduces stress on human muscles by between 18.2 and 29% while in use.
Wow, that's impressive.
Scientists behind the development believe the Wero exoskeleton could soon come to hold an essential place in worker safety, citing the high frequency of back injuries among workers today. I've just come up with a really bad use for this. I saw back injuries and I thought porn industry.
Oh, there you go. Just a little porn with the exoskeleton on, just for safety.
Yeah, for safety. Well, it's one of those unregulated industries that probably needs it, Jess.
Yeah.
Do you think exoskeleton porn could become a fetish?
I mean, I think it's going to, for sure.
Yeah.
If it's weird, someone's going to have a fetish for it.
But you have to act like you're animated like a robot. I'm just saying it. I know it's gotten weird. I'll keep going. In 1986, aliens envisioned exoskeletons as an essential future tool for multiplying human effort in manual labor. I think I worked with manual labor over at the Mexican radio station I was managing for a small time. Just saying. In contrast to the predominantly military use for such technologies presented in other science fiction, this is the industrial perspective that is shared by the Yonsei University scientists behind the development of Wero. There's a song that has that lyric in it. Wero. na, where, oh, what song is that I'm thinking of?
Gosh, I don't know.
Somebody's going to email me and tell me what it
It's
is.
just some weird karaoke going on right now.
Yeah. Currently, human augmentation devices are designed to support a single range of movement, limiting their application to specific tasks. Yonsei University scientists aim to overcome this limitation by developing a system capable of supporting multiple degrees of movement, enabling users to perform varied and complex tasks. Their efforts led to the creation of Wero, which is a soft wearable robot. Aw, soft wearable robot. It's almost like being a teddy bear, but not really.
It sounds kind of cozy.
It does, doesn't it?
Like if I wear it, I'm going to look like a squishamallow. That's what I imagine in my mind.
Squishamallow.
Yeah, do you know what those are? They're just big, poofy, they have no shape or form, which sounds wonderful because then there's no pressure, like you can see what you want. You're underneath a big squishamallow exoskeleton anyway. I like this AI story.
Squishamallow.
I'm here
Oh,
for it.
aw, aw, aw. You may be fitting into this really well. They detailed their work in a recent paper, a soft wearable robot with an adjustable twisted string actuator and a two-stage transmission mechanism for manual handling tasks. That's a long. Have you ever turned in a paper with a title that long?
Not on purpose.
I would get an F if I had a title that long on a paper. And I get a little teacher comment that would say title too long, please shorten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chop it down to like 3 or 4 words, Tim.
Yeah, too wordy. I just get too wordy. Streamline your thoughts. I get that. Yeah. Streamline your thoughts, Tim. It says with advancements like Wero, the potential for wearable robotics to improve workplace safety and productivity continues to grow, paving the way for future where human augmentation devices as versatile as the tasks they aim to support come true. Guys, huh? Huh? You thinking like I am right now, huh? Huh?
See an OnlyFans page in the future.
4-foot penis, huh? There's a bunch of guys out there right now going, it could happen.
Okay, you just put it on with your squishamallow exoskeleton.
You just put it on with your squishamallow exoskeleton.
Hopefully it's not squishy all the time.
You have to use a pneumatic pump in order to get that thing up to 4 feet.
Oh man.
It's not like anyone would touch you with a 4-foot one, but I mean, but it'd be fun to look at.
We'd be fascinated by it though. We'd be like, wow.
Use it for a baseball bat. And you could do different things with a walking stick. Third leg, right? You could jack up a car with it. I mean, there's different things you could do with it. Jess, it's never-ending entertainment.
I'm just imagining someone running their own 3-legged race.
Right? You remember that? Remember the old Incredible Hulk TV show where the Hulk comes along, he lifts up a car with it. Someone's under it.
Yeah.
You can lift up someone's trapped under a car. You could just walk over and go, oh, I'll save you. And you do it with no hands. That'd be wonderful.
Just your hands on your hip, looking like a
that's
superhero.
Right. I'll save you. There's a woman under there going, get that thing away from me. It'd just be wonderful.
Oh my, we took a strange turn.
I know. It's the things I think of during the day. It's really the only reason I have a podcast is just to get these weird things out of my head. It's cheaper.
Share them with the world.
Right. It's cheaper than therapy. Otherwise it's $125 an hour. And I don't have that kind of money.
Now you can just tell me and I'll just sit here and listen and laugh.
There you go. See? And really, that's you fill a lot of different needs for me. A girlfriend would do the same thing. She'd just sit there and laugh and laugh and laugh. And that's just me getting naked. I'm just saying. And then therapy, a therapist would do the same thing. Sit there and laugh and laugh and laugh. And then say, do you need a short stay at a gray bar hotel?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So really, you're filling a lot of different needs for me here, Jess. I appreciate
Here
that.
for you.
Thank you. Meanwhile, This next story is a desperate, terrifying turn, if ever I've heard one. Here's how we all could soon freeze our bodies and outlive an apocalyptic disaster. I just went from lifting a car with a 4-foot penis to here's how we can freeze our bodies and survive an apocalypse. A new facility could eventually allow humans to pause their bodies until the future arrives. Sound interesting, Jones?
I mean, it doesn't sound appealing to me.
Well, a group called Time Shift describes itself as the world's first cryopreservation facility and is based on cutting-edge AI and new cryopreservation techniques. Well, Disney, eat your heart out. If the idea comes to fruition, cryopreservation could allow cancer patients to freeze themselves until medicine advances or allow humans to outlive the apocalypse, as seen in Futurama. Oh, great. That's where you're pulling your inspiration from.
As I watch this great cartoon.
This is also brought to you by the people who think you should pick up hot barbecue sauce. Reference to yesterday's show.
Yes.
AI could also be utilized to help an avatar of the frozen person's likeness speak with their family and friends while their real body is frozen. Appeal to people with common sense for a moment. It's the last time you saw a frozen person come back to life and Olaf doesn't count.
And once you start to thaw out, I just imagine that your skin and stuff would kind of start to break down. It's like you're still getting old. Like your tissue's still, I don't know, maybe not. It's just.
Here you go, making sense again, Jess.
Try not to overthink it.
The facility has been proposed by Dr. Alex Zhavoronkov, a generative AI scientist and anti-aging researcher, and Hashem El-Galil, who's a molecular biologist. I think it's in title only. I don't think any of them have studied anything. To be honest with you. Hashem said the project is still in the R&D phase, research and development. The primary focus right now is to continue optimizing the cryopreservation process developed by Dr. Alex Zhavoronkov. Once fully optimized, we plan to test it on animal models and proceed from there. You tell me when your doxicle comes back to life.
And it's going to be like Pet Cemetery. It's going to kill you.
Yes, it is going to be pissed when it wakes up. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. Traditional cryopreservation methods are ineffective and lead to cell death, by the way, is what they say. However, the new method is designed to avoid this problem. I want to know how. Okay, so by the way, Walt Disney's probably really pissed right now. Ted Williams, who doesn't have his head, is probably really pissed off that they're dead right now. They're probably up in heaven or down in hell, wherever they are, going, Jesus, you killed me. And now they know that cryopreservation didn't work.
Right.
So how do we know if that didn't work? How do we know your new method works?
I don't think it's going to work, Tim. I think we're chasing a dream that, in my opinion, sounds more like a nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
I have a tough enough time going out in 10 degree below weather. How am I going to do this?
Right.
See how I brought that full circle?
And we could tester it right now and go lay down outside and see if we can freeze. And
I can't even do that for the 10 minutes before frostbite. I don't think I can do that for, hey, you never know. You might come back. I didn't come back for the 10 minutes to lay outside. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, except that your tissue is going to be like degrading because your cells are literally dead while you're frozen.
Yeah.
So your skin's just going to like slough off when you get up.
Yeah. You're just going to fall into a puddle of goo.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be it. By the way, Puddle of Goo, great metal band name. Puddle of Goo. After optimizing the process, they claim the next step will involve testing its efficacy and safety. There's no specific time frame, but everything goes as planned. A functional prototype should be ready within 5 to 8 years. So, don't hold your breath.
I'm not going to participate even if they do figure it out. No, thank you.
Timeshift also hopes to offer pre-hibernation enhancements, which could allow those frozen to wake up healthier. That's if you wake up, so hey, you know what? I'd like to wake up with a jacked body.
I'm say 20 pounds lighter, or no, 10 pounds lighter, 20 years younger.
That's right.
Maybe you can freeze me.
Then we'll think about it. But
Yeah.
and that cybernetic spine, that's perfect. I'd like that cybernetic spine.
Yeah, a body that doesn't hurt anymore.
Yeah,
Dang.
that'd be perfect. But something tells me that ain't happening. By the way, beyond preserving individuals, timeshift could transform industries by enabling better organ preservation, safeguarding biodiversity, and ensuring humanity's continuity during disasters. Can you say pie in the sky? I bet you could. That's right. I bet you could. All right, let's move on. We're going to talk another pie in the sky dream, Jess. Winning the lottery. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Although this celebrity psychic and astrologer is revealing the exact day you should buy a lottery ticket. A celebrity psychic and astrologer has revealed the luckiest day of the week to play the lottery in 2025. Kids, get out your pen and paper. We're about to tell you when it is. Everyone dreams of hitting that jackpot and winning the lottery, but this is something the majority of us are rather unlikely to ever experience. However, according to one psychic, you could increase your chances of winning big based on the day and time you opt to purchase your ticket. Celebrity psychic and astrologer Inbal Honigman. If this is a celebrity psychic, I've never heard of them. Has shared some insights into the luckiest and unluckiest days to buy a lottery ticket in 2025. By the way, we have an extreme cold warning out right now, so don't go outside, Jess. I'm just telling you right now. Choosing to buy a ticket on one day can increase your luck thanks to its connection to Jupiter, the planet of luck. Oh, this has to do with astrology. While there are also two quite unlucky days when you should be sure to not purchase a ticket. Alongside this, Inbal has also explained that Sagittarius are the luckiest star sign. So 2025 could potentially see you win big if this is your sign.
Okay, I'm here. That's my sign. Let's go.
That's your sign? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Get your money ready. Speaking on behalf of casino.ca, Imbal has revealed the luckiest day for purchasing a lottery ticket. She said the luckiest day for playing the lottery is Thursday. Which, by the way, just by coincidence, none of the major lotteries run on Thursday. Neither Powerball nor Mega Millions.
How interesting.
Yeah. Thursday is the day of the planet Jupiter, which is the planet of luck. It is seen as a jolly planet of growth, expansion, and wealth. The planet Jupiter aligned with the Roman god of the same name and the Norse god Thor. She added Thursday carries the energy of Thor and Jupiter in its name and its vibration. It's a great day for investing, gambling, and asking for a pay raise.
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday. There you go. And if you miss out on the chance to grab a ticket on Thursday, Imbal recommends purchasing a ticket on Sunday. Again, another day where neither lottery runs.
Interesting.
Yeah. As it is also ruled by the sun and therefore associated with luck, success, positivity, and abundance. So Thursday and Sundays are your day to buy your tickets. There you go.
I'm doing it.
Have I ever told you I have now won $100 at either Powerball or Mega Million 8 different times?
Stop. That's kind of cool. I've never played, if I'm being honest.
No?
No, I've never played. I've done scratch tickets and I won $3 once.
Really? Huh. In fact, I think I have. Do I have a winning scratch ticket here on my desk? I know I had a. I was playing Sasquatch here, which
Oh, cute.
it was just as a novelty. I was trying it, right? And I think I won. What did I win? Did I win $15 on this? I think I might have.
Hey, that's not bad. That's a burrito from Chipotle right there.
Yeah, it's a burrito from Chipotle. So there you go. But I haven't cashed it in yet. It's just one of those things.
Well, it's kind of a cute ticket too. You cashed in, you don't have them anymore. Gotta let them go.
Yeah, exactly. It's from the Minnesota Lottery, Sasquatch. I think it might have even expired. I'm not sure. I just kind of like the design. So I was like,
Yeah, it's pretty cute with that Sasquatch on there.
it's a $2 scratcher. So I just like the novelty of it. So there you go. Got another psychic story here for you. This psychic story has to do with Ricky Lake and the fact that her house burning down in an LA fire was predicted by psychic Tyler Henry.
Oh, I like Tyler Henry.
Ricky Lake has uncovered the moment that psychic Tyler Henry predicted that her home would burn in a fire. The 56-year-old former talk show host lost her Pacific Palisades home, like many other public figures, in this past week's raging Los Angeles wildfires. On Thursday, she revealed that her sprawling abode had been destroyed in the inferno despite her best efforts to save it. A week ago, Saturday, she appeared on Instagram to share a highlight from an October 2024 episode of Live from the Other Side with Tyler Henry, in which the medium warned of the destruction to come. The great Tyler Henry medium called it, she went on to say. Less than 3 months ago, on October 15th, 2024, Ross and I were on Tyler's show, and guys, he saw the fire, she wrote in a caption, referring to her husband, Ross Birmingham. She encouraged her 450,000 followers to check out the full episode for themselves, adding, "The show is on Netflix. I urge you to watch it."
I'm gonna watch it. I love that show. That's crazy.
Yeah. The note continued, "Oh my God, praying for those impacted by this ongoing nightmare, including my new friend, Tyler Henry Medium, and Rachel Harris, whose homes I hear may be at risk." In the outtake, Tyler said if there was a loss of material objects from a fire and water, that's the kind of weird distinction. It's two separate things. So we're going to end up finding there's a story where, like, there was a house fire or something along those lines, he continued. He added, "There's just something about watching water seep into a place that it shouldn't and damaging things." Ricky appeared stunned in the footage, dropping her mouth at one point while her husband sat next to her with his arm wrapped around her shoulder. In a post shared online earlier in the week, the media personality declared herself a survivor. Sharing a selfie with a solemn expression, she wrote, "If I'm anything at all, I am an effing survivor." Lake said that at 11:24 a.m. on Tuesday, she saw early signs of smoke in Temescal Canyon, leading her and Birmingham to set up a fire defense system, which included sprinklers. So there's that water that Tyler was talking about.
Yeah.
At 4:10 p.m., Lake said Birmingham used a hose to extinguish a blaze on a palm tree on their neighbor's property. She said that she and Ross weighed the risk of trying to save the home against their physical safety amid the windy night fires. "We finally surrendered our efforts and left our home at 8:02 p.m., she recounted, adding that they are grateful to have made it out alive and uninjured. She added, "No doubt, had we stayed, we would not have survived." The star also posted nighttime dashcam footage of her exit down Malibu's winding roads that night. Lake said she was praying for other locals in their homes amid the wreckage caused by the fires. "I think I might have just said goodbye to my house," she said in one chilling moment. The devastation in Southern California unfolded on Tuesday morning, a week ago Tuesday, when a combination of heavy wind and lack of rain created the perfect condition for a brush fire. As tragic as that is, it's amazing that he was able to see that all the way back in October.
Yeah. He's had some really impressive readings that he's done on that show. I just find him pretty accurate and fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. Our next story has to do with a major new reincarnation study, Jess, to explore children's past life memories. I've always found memories in children of past lives fascinating. It's always been one of those subjects where, a child will all of a sudden, when they come forward and just remember something out of the blue and are insistent, it's that moment where they know it as much as they know themselves, that and then they want to be brought to that place. Those types of
Yeah.
memories, or even something where something like a birthmark that used to be a scar from a bullet, or something that can prove that past life um, existed. Something like that.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, I find it fascinating too. There was a show on Netflix, and I can't remember the name of it, but I really distinctly remember one story they did about a little boy, and he was very young and too little to even know what he was talking about, but he kept telling his parents he had died in an airplane during war, and there was a lot to it. They ended up meeting with the sister of the man that he said he was, and the sister, who was an elderly woman, I think like in her 80s now, she was like, "This is my brother." Like, he knew all these childhood memories that only her brother would know,
yeah,
and it was just so fascinating.
yeah, yeah. I hate to say that it should give hope to people who think there's nothing after this life, but it's funny how the mind can turn skeptical before it can turn into a believing mind, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those things where I think people. It's easier for people to deny before it is to believe, and it's stories like that really, I think it's easier to open up your soul to believe things like that. Let me read this story here, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I have in front of me here. The research initiative will study the phenomenon of young children recalling details of their past lives. Set to be launched by the University of Virginia's Division of Perceptual Studies, or DOPS, the new program is backed by $750,000 of funding and is supported by several organizations, including the BIAL program, or BIAL Foundation, the Dreamery Foundation, and the Philip B. Rothenberg Research Fund. According to the press release, the research will employ state of the art neuroimaging and contemporary research methodologies to find out why some children seem to possess memories associated with their past lives. The study will be headed up by Dr. Marietta, I believe it is Pelivanova, and Dr. Philip Cozzolino. This expanded research program marks a new chapter in our scientific investigation of children's past life memories, said Dr. Pelivanova. By combining insights from our extensive case collection with modern neuroscientific methods, we aim to understand the cognitive, neurophysiological, and environmental factors that may contribute to these experiences. The study will look at two potential mechanisms through which memories of alleged past lives manifest in some children: memory and trauma, as well as new ways to identify and study such cases. The research aims to bridge the gap between these compelling cases and mainstream science, the press release states. The public presentation and dissemination of this work at conferences and in peer-reviewed scientific journals will contribute to our understanding of consciousness, memory, and human experience. So interesting. I wonder if they're going to try to connect or make a direct connection between consciousness and physical DNA, which would be interesting, or DNA memory.
Yeah, that would be really fascinating.
Yeah. So if they could make that connection, it'd be something, or to be able to prove that soul families have something to do with actual DNA families.
Yeah, that's the next level, right? That would really give us some scientific
Right.
proof, and that's what we need, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of DNA, there's a major new DNA study that could help to solve the Loch Ness Monster mystery. For the longest time, there's been talk that, well, the Loch Ness Monster may be nothing more than waves, or it may be nothing more than birds, or it may be nothing more than driftwood, right? At one point, there was, I think it was just a couple of years ago, they took and dredged the lake and tried to get DNA out of the actual lake itself to prove that there was something to Loch Ness and to the monster. Well, the geneticist who determined that Nessie could be a giant eel is planning to return to the loch once again. Back in 2019, New Zealand geneticist Professor Neil Gamel published the results of a biological study in which he carried out a detailed analysis of the DNA contained within 250 samples of water collected from Loch Ness in an effort to determine exactly what type of animals are living there. Part of the study involved investigating the validity of various monster hypotheses. That's a hard word to say. Hypotheses, such as whether or not the infamous creature could be a prehistoric reptile, a sturgeon, or a catfish, and a giant one at that. In the end, the study findings indicated that the most likely candidate for the Loch Ness monster was a giant eel, a plausible explanation given that there have been sightings of large eels in the loch before. Since then, however, the conclusion has been called into doubt on the basis that the samples were too small relative to the amount of water in the loch to provide an accurate result. Now, in a renewed effort to solve the Loch Ness monster mystery once and for all, Professor Gemmell is planning to return to Scotland to conduct another DNA analysis using a completely different method. One of the things I think we may have forgotten is that we're all explorers and discoverers, he said. Each of us makes new observations every day. Working in science, I have the privilege to embark on that journey of discovery every day in the laboratory. And last time around with Loch Ness 1.0, being able to capture that excitement and communicate it to the world was so much fun. According to Professor Gamel, he doesn't expect to actually find a literal monster. The research could help to further cement his giant eel hypothesis while providing important new data about the loch. Whether he will get the opportunity to proceed with that project, however, remains to be seen. Well, I kind of hope he finds what he's looking for, if it is a giant eel.
Yeah, just giving us some answers, whether to confirm or, not confirm that Nessie is, a monster cryptid rather than just a normal giant sea creature.
Right. Exactly. Let's see here. We have a few more stories left in our arsenal for today. 3 obscure cryptozoological creatures you may never have heard of. Of course, we've heard of Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster. They need no introduction. But have you ever heard of the Loveland Frog?
I wrote about the Loveland Frog in my first Monsters of the Midwest book.
Oh, can you tell us about him then?
Well, what I remember about him is that he was seen, I believe it was like the 70s, and he was seen on this road by multiple different witnesses. One of them was a police officer who witnessed this frog that would stand up on 2 legs bipedal. And one person said that it actually had like a cane and was almost like wearing a top hat. Like it's very comical. And the community, somebody actually wrote a play about it that they performed in town. That was the thing that stuck out to me the most.
That's more than I got here. Look at that.
There you go.
Like a Michigan J Frog. There you go, Jess. Well, the other 2 that I have here is the Mokele Mbembe.
Ooh, I like the name.
Mokele Mbembe. In the dense rainforests of the Congo River Basin, locals speak of a creature known as the Mokele Mbembe, I believe, a massive semi-aquatic beast that resembles an extinct sauropod dinosaur. Descriptions of the creature vary, but is typically depicted as having a long neck and a small head. The name Mokele Mbembe roughly translates to one who stops the flow of rivers, seemingly a reference to the alleged size of the creature, or one who gets up in the middle of the night and doesn't want to piss the bed. I made that that's a prostate joke. Just saying. Some have suggested that Mokele Mbembe could be a relic from the dinosaur age, some sort of living fossil, though the likelihood of a population of such creatures surviving tens of millions of years without being discovered seems to be unlikely, to say the least. And finally, the Thunderbird. I know you've probably written about the Thunderbird.
Yeah, I'm always trying to find a good Thunderbird story in every region.
Well, this one talks about it being introduced into North American folklore by Native American tribes. The thunderbird is often described as a gargantuan bird with a wingspan large enough to darken the sky. Some accounts suggest that it's large enough to carry off an entire bison by its talons. Though the thunderbird is primarily a figure of mythology, there have been occasional sightings by modern day witnesses. Skeptics, however, argue that these reports are either likely to be hoaxes or cases of misidentification, typically of known bird species such as eagles or vultures. To date, no conclusive evidence of an extant species of giant bird are consistent with the legend that have ever been found. So you couldn't say vulture. You couldn't say that, even, gosh, what would be as big as a thunderbird that could be confused? An owl, a giant owl would not be a thunderbird.
So I'm dubious of this story just because there are actually, when we were doing our research for Monsters of the Midwest, again, the original one that we wrote, there were stories in the newspapers of people, children, being picked up by these giant birds. I don't think an eagle or an owl is going to pick up a elementary school kid or like a 10 or 11-year-old. And that was the one, it was like back in the 1800s, I think. The child was actually picked up in front of all of the kids at school, and it carried him away and then dropped him somewhere, and he died. And the other one that we included in the book was a story about a boy who was picked up outside of his home, and it was witnessed by his parents and their friends, and the mom had to run over and like grab his ankles to try to pull him back down. That's how they finally got the bird to let go of him. Like, what kind of a bird could pick up a kid?
Would a giant vulture or a bigger vulture, if it were to mistake the kid for being injured or possibly near death?
I don't know. I mean, the kid was just playing like ball with his brother or something. Like, he wasn't
Oh, okay. Well,
being all like pretending to be dead or anything.
huh. Well, that would rule out a vulture.
Yeah, it's just, I think there's no solid explanation, in my opinion, for any bird I can think of that would
Yeah.
prey on a human-sized, not a baby even, like a kid who's at school or
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, the only other thing I can think of is you would be talking about not necessarily a bird, but something that descended from a dinosaur. That would be a missing link.
Pterodactyl type, yeah.
Yeah, like a pterodactyl type that, if it were still existing into the 1800s, into 1900s, then I don't know why it would still be around.
Maybe it's a time slip. Maybe there's something like that coming through a little crack in the space-time continuum.
Yeah, yeah. Bizarre. Bizarre, bizarre. As we're winding down today, we have a brand new tale. You're going to like this, Jess. Of a huge new species of supergiant isopod named after Darth Vader. I don't know why either. I'm going to show you this picture real quick.
Okay.
You tell me why this thing is named after Darth Vader. To me, this looks more like Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. That looks nothing like, it looks like a mealworm or something.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why that's named after Darth Vader, but let's find out.
Okay.
So here's the story. This enormous underwater creature has been named after the iconic villain of the Star Wars franchise. It might sound strikingly prehistoric, but this gargantuan underwater isopod is a real deal. It's 2.2 kilograms, and it's a monster, supergiant that lives in the water near the Spratly Islands. It's an archipelago in the South China Sea. Giant isopods typically live in cold, deep areas of the ocean, and this newly discovered species is one of the biggest anyone has ever seen. What's more, it's been named Bathynomus vaderi in reference to Darth Vader because its head bears more than a passing resemblance to the iconic Star Wars character's helmet. Okay, I'm going to show you a different picture of it here in a second.
Okay.
I still don't think it looks like Vader.
No, it totally looks like Jabba the Hutt, though. They should have named it that.
Yeah. Despite its huge size, however, this newfound species is not actually the largest isopod. That title goes to B. jamesi, or Jamazy, which can grow to 20 inches long and weighs as much as 2.6 kilograms. it's quite plausible that there are other, even larger species out there waiting to be discovered, but due to the tendency to live deep down in the ocean depths, finding them can prove to be a challenge. All right, I have a compare and contrast here, Jess. This is why they think it looks like Vader.
Nope, still don't see it.
I don't either. I think it's just the eyes.
I mean, if you take the helmet off and it was just the eyes and the mouth, nose, the lower part, not the helmet. The helmet, it's like Vader without his helmet.
Yeah, yeah. I don't get it. I don't
Oh,
see it.
he's kind of cute though.
Aw, like, oh, he's kind of cute. Cutest isopod ever. You the cutest isopod ever. That can only help his ego, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'd keep one as a pet.
You'd keep that big of an isopod as a pet?
Maybe if I could.
What are you gonna do? Throw him in the pool?
I don't know.
I mean,
To have a giant tank up. We just lost our beta fish, so I think I'm just craving a creature.
oh,
And I need another critter.
yeah. Oh, there you go. I mean, I don't know what you feed it. Other creatures?
Probably beta fish.
Good point. Yeah, there you go. I guess something you could keep, or you could feed it. I don't know if it'll eat it or not.
What?
A plate of bananas.
Ooh.
Here's
Well,
that.
now I want a monkey.
See, I want a monkey too. I can't convince anybody to let me have a monkey. I've been trying since I was 5 years old to have a monkey. I think it was because of Curious George.
Probably. And maybe there are a lot of us of our generation who felt that way because I really would beg my parents to get me a monkey. And we lived on a farm. I'm like, he fit right in.
See, there's no excuse if you had a farm as a kid not to have Curious George or a monkey.
Yeah.
I had a Curious George. They thought this was a compromise for me when I was younger. I think I was like 3 or 4. They got me a Curious George doll.
Oh,
I
not
had
the same, but
No, not the same. They were like, here's Curious George. And I was like, no, I want a monkey. Like I wanted a little friend. Like I want a little monkey friend. I didn't
yeah.
I didn't want to dress in a yellow hat, but I wanted I wanted a monkey friend.
Well, that was nice of them to try. That's a sweet gesture.
Yeah, but you know, I wanted a monkey friend so we could get into adventures. I mean, you can't get into adventures with a stuffed animal. It just doesn't happen. But there is a mystery, however, surrounding a plate of bananas that keeps appearing on a street corner. Someone's been leaving a plate of bananas on the ground in Beeston, England, every month for over a year. According to local reports, a plate of peeled bananas has been placed on the corner of Abbey Road and Windsor Avenue in Beeston, Nottinghamshire, on the second day of every month. Now, Jess, there's nothing special about the bananas themselves, of which there are typically between 16 and 20 of these bananas.
Wow, this is very specific.
Very specific. And there are never any notes or any other indications left to explain why those bananas are there. So just imagine 16 to 20 bananas on a plate just left there in the middle of the street for any monkey to have. Just saying. On top of this, nobody ever takes or eats the bananas, meaning they quickly end up going moldy. The mystery has left local residents scratching their heads. I've asked around in the local community, but no one really knows and no one can tell me anything, said Claire Short, who lives nearby. The bananas appear early in the morning on the 2nd of the month. I see them on my way to work. I'd love to know the answer to this. The fact that the bananas just sit there and go moldy has prompted some of the locals to try to encourage whoever is responsible to stop leaving them there. Short even tried putting up a sign to ask them to stop, but to no avail. The plate of bananas appeared at the same place on the second day of the month as usual. If they could come back and clean up the mess a few days later, that would be lovely, she said. I think it's a special thing for someone, and I wish them well. Oh, see, that's very British of them at the end.
Yeah.
It's very special. I wish them well.
Yes, but also stop being disgusting and leaving a mess behind.
Yes, yes.
Cheerio.
Clean up your mess. It's very special as well. You'll make some monkey very happy one day. Right? I mean, it's very nice.
Yes.
Well, we go from being special and being very happy and making people happy to well, making people not so happy. The Danes, the Neolithic Danes, made a sunstone sacrifice to banish the volcanic winter. We need one of these. It's 11 below right now.
Yes, I'm here for it. What do we have to sacrifice? Hopefully not a young virgin.
Well, let's find out.
I could go to jail for that.
Yeah, you could. Plus, there's no virgins in Minnesota. I'm just saying. Thousands of years ago, a major volcanic eruption spewed plumes of ash and dust, which darkened the sky. They still had virgins to find. These cataclysmic events, which occurred around 2900 BCE, would have seen the sun blotted out across the northern hemisphere, bringing about a volcanic winter with freezing temperatures, which caused crops to fail and brought about a devastating famine. For those living in the parts of the world impacted by the eruption, it must have been a worrying time. Now, evidence has been found to suggest that some of these people tried to take matters into their own hands by making special sacrifices aimed at bringing back the sun's warmth. Archaeologists excavating sites on the Danish island of Bornholm, or Bornholm rather, found 614 flat pieces of shale that had been engraved with images of the sun, as well as agricultural fields and crops. Despite designs of this nature being very uncommon at the time, it appears as though the local people had taken the decision to bury all of them in a ditch during a single event, presumably as part of some form of ritual designed to banish the wintry conditions that had befallen them. The archaeologists who discovered the stories, or rather the stones, decided to team up with climate scientists who were able to confirm that a major natural disaster had occurred at that time. We actually found that this eruption had taken place and that it can be rather narrowly dated, but we wanted to have a little bit more than that because we can say, okay, there's an eruption, but did it affect Bornholm? Dr. Rune Iverson from the University of Copenhagen told IFL Science. To find out, the team looked at ancient sediment layers and tree rings to determine that there had indeed been a significant reduction in sunlight coinciding with the volcanic eruption. We're comparing this event to the Caesar volcano because it basically is of the same magnitude, said Iverson. It has been described in the classical sources with harsh winters and bad summers. They talk about temperatures dropping by about 7 degrees in the summer, for example. An average Danish summer can be pretty harsh itself, but if you then subtract 7 degrees, it's a really bad summer. So it's not good for the harvest. All right, so there you go. Flat shale rocks, we'll draw stuff on it and ta-da,
Warm.
warm. Makes sense to me. All right, Jess, finally, this is how we cleanse our palate today by telling you that, first of all, we have an executive producer of today's program. Here's your first ad. Today's program is brought to you by our executive producer, Troy Palmer. So thank you, Troy, for all you do. We appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Second of all, what if you had to have your dreams interrupted by an ad, who would you have it interrupted by? Obviously, probably Terramana tequila, right?
Oh, sure. That would be all right.
Because The Rock is in the ad. I
would take that. I also like the ad that Johnny Depp is in. That would be okay. And food. I like food, Tim. I would be all right with some nice meaty steak ads.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'd take a McRib ad and do that. Trying to think. What would I take for ads? Something for Janet Jackson's new tour.
Oh, there you go. I would even take that one.
Yeah. Oh, there's a few I'd take. Yeah. There's a few ads I'd take.
Good ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it turns out you may not have a choice. Pretty soon, you may be finding ads coming into your dreams, according to a new survey A disturbing new trend has seen an increasing number of companies experiment with dream advertising. You would think that being asleep would enable you to escape with the with the or escape from the grasp of commercial advertising, but according to astonishing new research, even your dreams are being infiltrated by advertisements, and this is only likely to get worse as time goes on. The survey, which was aimed at young Americans, let them have the ads, I'm convinced, found that as many as 54% between the ages of 18 to 35 have experienced advertisements in their dreams, with 61% experiencing them within the last year and 38% experiencing them on a regular basis, sometimes even every night. Now, have you ever dreamt and had an ad in your dreams?
No, thankfully, never.
No?
Mm-mm.
See, I have.
Have you?
Yes. It was
What was it
irritating.
an ad for?
Well, it was playing over and over again. And you want to
Oh,
know what it was? You're going to,
yeah.
if I do it, you're going to start singing it.
What is it?
1877 cars for kids. Dun, 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 cars for kids.
Oh no, that's a nightmare, Tim.
I was working at iHeartRadio and it was on every freaking commercial break.
Yeah.
1877 cars for kids. KARS cars for kids. 1877 cars for kids. Donate your car today. Every fucking break.
Oh my God. And you had a nightmare that song was just playing over that commercial over and over again.
What it was I'm in the studio in my dream. And we go to break. And it kept playing and it kept playing and it kept playing. And I was trying to get the system to go to the next ad and I couldn't get it to go forward. And I called engineering and I'm like, the system's stuck. I can't get it. I can't get it to go forward. I can't get it to go forward. And they're like, try and reboot the computer. I tried to reboot the computer and the ad itself comes up on the screen. And as they're singing the jingle, one of the little kids comes on the screen and goes, why would you do that? You know, we're trying to raise money. And I was like, what in the actual fuck is going on here? You're like, you're taking food out of kids' mouths. We're
Oh
just trying to
wow.
help. You're evil. And I'm like, oh my God. And at that point, I wake up.
That's that's hilarious.
And ever since then, now when I see a Cars for Kids ad, I just want to throw something at the screen. It's just bad. I just hate those ads so much.
Yeah, it's an annoying one. I think just because it's overplayed.
Now, another thing that's really funny, if you want a really funny story about that Cars for Kids thing. Now, mind you, that did you know that ad has been on TV, that PSA, it's supposed to be a PSA because they're a nonprofit.
Yeah.
That PSA has been on TV now for almost 20 years.
No way.
Yeah. That PSA was on, I think it's been almost 20 years. I know it's been at least 15.
I believe it because I feel like I've been listening to that since my kids were babies and now they're
Yeah.
in their 20s.
About, I want to say it was 12 years ago, 13 years ago. My brother was just starting to drive. And his mom, my stepmom, says to my dad, we got to get Drew a car. Right.
Mm-hmm.
My dad says, well, yeah, when he's ready. I don't feel like he's ready yet. No. We got to get him a car. I got the perfect place to get him a car. She's not the brightest bulb on the tree. And he goes, well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, and we'll just, get him a beater. He said, you don't want to get him a great car when he's out driving around. He's probably going to wreck it. No. I think I know where to get him a free car. Roy, I know where to get him a free car. No, where do you think you're going to get him a free car? There's this commercial on TV, this Cars for Kids. They're giving away free cars. I tried to call him, but nobody picks up the phone. But I saw the commercial on TV, and I think they give out free cars for kids. She was
Mm,
convinced that they gave cars out to kids,
bless her heart.
right? My sisters and I have never laughed so hard in our lives. So when my brother was looking for a car for the longest time, I said, "Hey, I got a number for you."
No guy.
Here, go get a car for you, kid. Anyway, so 18 to 35-year-olds, 61% of them experienced ads in their dreams within the last year. 38% experience them on a regular basis, sometimes even every night. What's more, the findings are backed up by another recent study indicating 77% of companies surveyed expressed an intention to experiment with so-called dream advertising, a form of advertising designed to influence what you dream about after being exposed to the ad.
I don't like that.
If you dream about a product, you're more likely to buy it, or at least that's the theory. The same survey indicated that at least 33% of consumers made a purchase based on something that they dreamt about, Jess.
Get out of my head, advertisers.
See? Many of those who did experience advertising in their dreams noted that it was mostly centered around major brands such as Coca-Cola, Apple, and McDonald's. So, you dreamt it, you buy it. Some experts believe that this is because frequent exposure to such brands during our daily lives, from TV to radio to billboards and internet ads, can cause memory reactivation during sleep. Some of the people surveyed, around 41%, even suggested that they would be open to seeing adverts in their dreams if it meant receiving a discount upon purchase. So, yes, people are willing to sell their dreams to get a discount.
Not this girl. I'll pay full price. Thank you.
Others, meanwhile, were less enthusiastic, with some suggesting that some sort of dream ad blocker might become an important concept in the coming years. This may come in the form of mental exercises designed to keep you or help you become more aware of the issue, or perhaps even a form of lucid dreaming designed to help you control what you dream about. Exactly how much of a problem this is, it actually likely to become, however, remains to be seen. I'll tell you this much. If advertisers can figure out a way to advertise in your dreams, they're going to do it.
Oh, they are. Yes, aggressively.
Yeah. So be careful.
I like this less than AI, Tim.
Yeah. And I'll tell you the other thing. Once the advertisers figure out a way, the porn producers aren't too far behind. That's generally how it works. So there you go. Jess, what's new in your world?
Tim, not much. Just doing the same old, writing some books that'll come out next fall. Other books are available if you're interested in buying them. Go on my website or on Amazon and search my name. You'll find some books. No events to promote quite yet, but one in the works that will be coming in December, actually. So we're really planning ahead.
Okay. Well, we have a link in the description of our program that you'll be able to, of course, access and be able to check out all things Jessica Freeburg. You'll be able to get the books as well, jessicafreeburg.com. And yeah, just check out everything that Jess has to offer there. And you know, pick up some of those books. There's three.
Yeah, and really just connect. Just connect with me. If we're not connected on social media, I love connecting with you guys. So don't hesitate to
The last
do
couple of weeks, I've had your TikTok handle up on the description of the program, and I wondered to myself, when TikTok got shut down there for a couple of days, I
Yeah.
wondered to myself, I was like, I wonder if people are still trying Jessica's TikTok handle.
Oh, they're all feverishly trying to connect
Yeah.
with me on TikTok.
Like, I can't get in. I can't get in. I can't get in. And then now finally you can get in because you can finally
And
but
finally follow us both on there.
yeah.
Him and I are going to be TikTok sensations. You just watch.
Yeah, when we finally figure out what to put up there besides show promo. Well,
Anything weird. I swear, slicing bread and telling a story.
yes, slicing bread, telling a story about sliced bread. That'd be fun. I mean, eventually, right? We'll figure out something.
We'll figure it out.
Right. Tomorrow on the big program, we have an old friend with us tomorrow. And this old friend, he played six. He played knick-knack on his... No, wait. No. We have a psychic with us tomorrow, and it's not just your typical psychic. And I know people are like, psychic? Another psychic show, Tim. Psychic? No, this is not a psychic. This person who's with us tomorrow, he is a psychic. He is a paranormal investigator. He is a man who has had ghost experiences of all different kinds. He had 2 books out before this 3rd book, which is out right now that we'll be talking about tomorrow. This man's name is John. John Russell is with us tomorrow.
Yay.
And he rides a motorcycle.
He's so cool.
Yeah, you got to love a guy who rides a motorcycle. So he's got a brand new book out there, and I'm in the process of reading it right now. And boy, you want to talk about a guy who can spin a tale. He's definitely one that can spin a tale. So we're going to talk about a few of those stories out of the book tomorrow. We're going to find out what's new with them. But yeah, John Russell, man, I tell you, he has got this. I'm trying to find the name of the new book here because it's not hitting me off the top of my head here. There it is. Yeah, it is. It is The Crying Tree and the Magic Rock. That's what it is.
Ooh, I like the name.
Yeah, yeah. And you may think with a name like The Crying Tree and the Magic Rock, you're like, is that a kid's story? Which is the first thing when I saw the name of the book, I went, The Crying Tree and the Magic Rock. Am I reading a kid's story here? I didn't want to shoot back and go, John, is this a kid's story? But it's not. It's not a kid's story, not at all, not in the slightest. No, in fact, you're going to get some really, really, really cool paranormal stories tomorrow when John comes on the program. So, yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Yep. And coming up in the end of January, beginning of February, even into March, we're going to have a few more, let's just say, very well-known paranormal investigators coming on the show.
Fun.
Yeah, that's all I'll say. So lots of good shows on the way here, Jess. So that's what we got coming up here on Darkness Radio.
Bringing the good stuff.
Bringing the good stuff, that's for sure. I want you to keep your eye on darknessradioshow.com, particularly the store section. That's one place I want you to keep your eye on. The event section, because like I said, Potographs for Pooches is coming in August. We'll have more information on that, as well as we'll put the events up when Jess gets them up for Ghost Stories Inc. We'll put that up in the event section. And I will be in Kansas City the end of February at Missouri Paracon. I'll put that up here shortly. You can get your tickets for that. And so check it out. Yeah, check it out. I'll be there, and I'll be there as a vendor. So come by the table, say hi. And we'll see you at end of February in Kansas City. So, yeah, lots of stuff happening this year. There you go. That's all I got for today. We've been here long enough. We'll see you tomorrow for John Russell right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. For Jessica Freeburg, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Darkness Radio.
For more audio and video archives of the show, intriguing content, and cool swag, check out darknessradioshow.com. Thank you for watching, and be sure to tune in tomorrow for psychic medium and paranormal investigator John Russell.